Welcome to the Acquired Taste Podcast. We're back. It's your boy, Dirty D.
It's your boy, Tech Daddy.
And Queen Bee.
I'm excited for this one because we're not talking about anything sad today.
We're not talking about anything. We're talking about something ridiculous.
For the first time in a while, it's not a downer.
It's been a minute, and it's time that we lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Because this is so ridiculous. this shit's ridiculous.
It's a little dumb.
It's insane.
Yeah.
The amount of money that was into this.
A lot of money.
Like a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
And then the brainwashing of an entire generation.
It's really weird. It's
Right.
like one of those topics where like Aaron mentioned it, and I was like, well, why did they do that? And then you start looking into that, and then you're like, what the fuck, man?
And then the amount of people who don't know about it, it's just like,
Yeah.
how did we?
Are
we all that gullible?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, we are.
Obviously, like this story proves the gullibility of the American people, and holy fuck.
Yeah, it really does.
Indeed. Well, before we tell you what we're talking about, and before we get into the meat of it, we got to give a shout out.
Yeah, we do have to give a shout out. Our last episode on Spotify and YouTube, is that correct? Was cut 10 minutes short towards the end. We got through all the information stuff, but we had some banter and some shout outs towards the end. So we wanted to do that in the beginning this time. We had a beautiful wood laser etched sign made for us by an old friend who started this company called GKT Customs. He makes these badass fucking signs. This one's kind of like a shadow box almost. It's nice and fucking framed. He painted it using actual tattoo ink. It's got like layers and texture to it, which is really fucking cool.
It's very cool.
Epoxy for the fucking glasses on the logo. It's really, really fucking cool. We're going to post pictures of it. He was kind enough to make the sign for us. He kind of just, reached out to us and asked us about it, and we were like, fuck yeah, dude.
Right.
And it came out absolutely flawless. Really good craftsmanship.
Oh yeah, better than I could have imagined. It looks so cool.
Yeah, super legit. Once again, GKT Customs. He's on Instagram, on Facebook. Super easy to look up. There's no underscore or anything. It's just capital GKT and then Customs. But he does do custom work. He does do, if you have an image, something in mind, a sign you want to have made, this guy can do it. So I would highly recommend you hit him up.
Yeah, go check out his stuff for sure. It's very, very cool. He does a lot of, just looking through all of the work that he's done already, I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, the Spider-Man, the Iron Man, those were pretty tight.
Yeah, it's like he had some pictures that were like kind of tilted, so you can it's not just a flat view, and then you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, well, when you first showed me pictures of it on your phone, I'm like, okay, that's pretty tight. And then I saw it in person, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like it's far and beyond what I expected.
Pictures don't even do it justice. We're gonna try to get some really good pictures of it, but I don't know. Pictures don't do it justice.
No, you got to see it in person. So everybody go to DJ's house.
I'm gonna leave it here so they come.
Nope. That's not advisable. I will stare at you.
Aaron wants no one in his house ever.
It's so true.
He doesn't even want us here right now.
Right. They walked in, I was like playing video games, had a blanket over me.
I leave like a geocache tracker in the back of it.
Dude, those was just fighting words, really.
I missed geocaching.
Yeah, those are fun.
That shit was so fun.
We actually did one when I was in Arizona, actually.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we found it pretty quick.
They used to have really good ones in Michigan, like all over Michigan. We would go and like just drive around.
Yeah, it's probably still a thing. I think it's still a thing that people do. I mean, we did it like last 2 weeks ago.
Really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, I found one as recent as like 3 months ago.
The ones around here suck, though. They're all like along the bike trail or just in parking lots.
Yeah, there's one in Highland on the bike trail.
Yeah.
Somewhere by the post office, and there's like just a tree that's split in two, and it's just like a pill bottle that sits there. But you can see it. Like
there was a really cool
Just gave it away.
Yeah.
Just ruined it for everybody else.
There's a really cool one. I wonder if it's still there, but it's at a school. I won't say which school, but it's at a school in Highland, and it's on the baseball field, and there are like these poles that are lining where the fence is. and you have to take the cap off of the pole, and then there's like a magnet tied to the inside of it. And you have to take the magnet and put the magnet on the bottom of the pole and pull the magnet up the pole, and that will bring up the container. And I was
Mission
like,
Impossible shit.
whoa.
You know, we have a lot of like little parks around here. I'm surprised we don't do more of them.
Yeah, there's
We should just start fucking doing them this summer. Just say fuck it.
Yeah.
Start
hit a
like,
couple. Yeah.
Let's do it.
You know.
I'm so down.
right.
Do some while you guys are in Philly
Man,
We might. I'm gonna be too busy trying to find Philly cheesesteaks.
with some cheese whiz.
with the hot ass cheese whiz.
Motherfucking cheese whiz. Yes.
Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're gonna eat it and be like,
I never said it was a bad idea.
yeah,
I'm down. I mean, when in Rome, you know.
yeah, that's true.
I will
mean-
laugh so hard if you guys get back and you're like, that was the best thing I've ever eaten.
Microwaving cheese whiz.
Yeah, right. I don't think I've ever actually purchased cheese whiz in my entire life, so this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it was just always at the house when I was a kid.
Right.
It's just always kind of there.
Yeah,
The same can.
Probably. Fucking could be. But I mean, people do weird. I mean, there's weird food traditions everywhere. I mean, like, who the fuck would have thought to put like a slice of tomato on a hot dog?
yeah.
But
Wait,
yeah,
where is that at?
Chicago
Chicago
style.
style.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That was live.
I don't ever eat Chicago style. I don't eat really hot dogs though, so I'm so, what are you looking at me like that for?
It's weird, dog.
Sorry, I'm not a hot dog person.
Like hot dogs are one of my top 5 favorite foods.
I'm really not a hot dog person.
I've been eating leftover hot dogs for like the past 3 days.
I have hot. I might make hot dogs later.
It's amazing.
I learned how they were made when I was like 10. And then
Yep.
ever since then, I was like,
Yeah, you can't do that.
Well,
I'm gravy.
gotta
I don't
be
need no more.
ignorant.
I know what it is,
that way.
and I think about it almost every time I eat it. I don't give a fuck. Savage.
I mean, I will say, when I make spaghetti, I will cut up some hot dogs and put it in my spaghetti.
The caucasity.
Oh, this is nice.
Like, you honestly just pissed off an entire country.
No, this is perfect because this is going to lead into the question I have. for today.
Fantastic. Because, like, I have spaghetti in the fridge right now, and it's damn fine. But, like, there's not... I have, like, ground turkey in there.
I didn't think that was a white people thing. I thought it was like just a poor people thing.
Back to ground turkey, though. Like,
Oh man,
ground turkey is not that expensive.
that's perfect.
I mean, when we were younger and poor, it wasn't that expensive. Nowadays, it's actually kind of going up
I don't
because
know.
people are like, oh, we want to get away from red meat. Me. Jackasses, raising my prices.
So yeah, this leads perfectly into my question because we're going to be talking about some government assistance shit today. What is your guys' like hood snack, like food you make when you're fucking broke? You know what I
Okay.
mean? Spaghettis with hot dogs,
I got a couple.
maybe just fucking grilled cheese, maybe some fried fucking spam. You know,
Fried
Dude,
spam.
spam went up in price.
really?
Yes.
I haven't bought spam in a while.
People
Yeah.
still eat spam.
Yeah, habitually. You're about to piss off a whole, like, disjointed part of America, aka Hawaii.
I don't think anyone from Hawaii listens to our podcast.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not anymore.
And they
Not
won't.
anymore.
Fuck. We just lost our whole Hawaii
Like they were
family.
really enjoying it until like they hit that point and they're like,
There
No.
you go. Mahalo.
But yeah, spam's still delicious. It's just unfortunate because it went up in price a lot. But hood meals though, I have several, so bear with me for a moment here. Speaking of hot dogs and things you put them in, pork and beans. So you gotta get some beans, can of
Okay.
beans, couple of hot dogs in it.
oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Fire.
Honestly, cut up hot dogs and put it with anything.
Well, apparently put them with fucking spaghetti.
Pretty fucking solid, man.
Yeah.
There's that. Of course, you got the ramen. You know, I mean, you want to get fancy with throw an egg in there. You know,
That's actually mine. Is basically just ramen with an egg, like a fried egg.
Oh, yeah,
And
throw it-
toss it in there.
Yep. Bloop, bloop. It's delicious. One of my all time favorites, fried bologna. Always a classic. You know. What else we got in there that I probably just ate yesterday? Oh, dude, you got the tortilla. It's tortilla, butter. You get a hot dog, cut it in half, brown the hot dog, and put salsa in it.
Oh wow.
There's a name for it.
That's a Mexican hot dog, my friend.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I thought there was like a thankfully, when I was poor, I had Mexican friends too, and they taught me their ways, and that's one of my favorites. Put a little cheese in that bitch.
Yeah, honestly, a tortilla with anything. I think we've had this discussion. I think last time we talked about it.
We did.
Yeah, that's honestly okay. So number one, tortilla, butter, and eggs. Real fucking
Hell
easy.
yeah. Hell yeah.
And
if you've got like some sausage or whatever, cut it up.
oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And bread and butter for me, honestly, with anything. Like I'll make anything into a sandwich with bread and butter. If there's spaghetti,
Oh, dude, that's the key right there, man.
going in there, you
Get
know?
some bread and the butter, throw the spaghetti in the middle of it.
if I make some kind of raviolis or something, it's in the fucking
Right on the bread and butter.
yeah, right in the bread and butter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fire.
You guys ever just want like some toast? Like just toast. Plain toast with butter on it?
Oh yeah, with just butter. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Like that just hits the spot sometimes.
Sometimes it does, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I would do just butter and jelly.
Yeah, butter and jelly. I like that on a bagel too. If I don't have any cream cheese, I'll do butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Not a bagel person.
I love bagels.
They're like wannabe donuts. I don't fuck with them.
Oh, they don't want to be donuts. They want nothing to do with donuts.
Nope.
They scoff at donuts.
Because like when you look at them from a distance and look like donuts, like, oh, there's donuts here, and then you get close, it's like, oh, it's a bagel. You know,
A more manageable donut.
one of my favorite
You know.
struggle meals, though,
Hearty donut.
like one of the all-time goat struggle meals, sleep.
Like, I'm hungry.
Sleep for dinner.
I'm just gonna go.
Take your ass to bed. Take your ass to bed.
I can't be hungry if I'm unconscious.
I mean, it's real though. Like,
Yeah. that's a good fucking point. Like
Sleep
chug
better.
a bottle of like room temperature water and just go to bed because that'll
Yeah.
fill your stomach for a little bit. And then,
yep.
Well, that's pretty much like when I was doing. I'm doing it right now, but intermittent fasting. It's basically like when you first start it is the hardest part. You're like hungry all the time.
Yeah.
So basically, the way that I got through that was just to chug water. Like
Yeah.
I would get myself full enough to like keep going if I just chugged a bunch of water, and then I was fine for a
Yeah.
while.
How do you do the intermittent fasting? Like what time span?
I would do 16/8. So I would do like I would do like 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. would be my eating window, and then now because I'm at a different job, so my lunch hour is later, so I do 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. is my eating window.
Oh, okay. That's not fucking bad.
No, it's not bad at all. Like
Yeah.
the first maybe 2 weeks or so are the hardest, and then once you get past that, it's like you don't get hungry outside of your eating window. You don't crave things.
Yeah.
You don't. It's just
Just fucking routine. Like you
Yeah.
just trained yourself. Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
No shit. Yeah, my brother Tony used to do it like before he got into the military, but he would do crazy shit. Like he wouldn't eat for like a
Yeah.
fucking like a day or two or
There are
some
a
shit
lot
like
of
that.
people
You know.
who do like full, like 24-hour fast. There are people who do, a lot of people who do, they call it OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. And they just kind of eat one meal and then they wait 24 hours and then eat another meal. It's like, I couldn't do that.
No, I mean, if you want to see me on the news, sure. Local man enraged.
Charlie's
Yeah, you get-
massacred in the fucking room, and he worked his way down the street.
Yeah, I mean, because
You get hangry though.
I do get really hangry. It's fucking bad.
Yeah.
Years of therapy out the window. Just
I'm
fucking-
not a hangry person. I get emotional and I get mad when I'm tired. Like that's my thing. But when I'm hungry, I'm just kind of like sad. Like
yeah.
I wish I had some food.
I get super stupid when I'm tired, like extra strength dumb when I'm tired. But other than that, I'm usually the same, level of calm. But when I'm hungry though,
When you're tired, you just turn into like a caveman, and it's just all fucking muscle.
yeah, I'm just ooga booga.
All the blood just drained from down here, all to your fucking
When I'm
your
tired,
biceps.
I
Right.
hate everything. I hate everything. I hate everyone. If I'm tired, you could be like, "Oh, you look nice today." And I'm like, "Fuck you."
See, I can't think that because I'm always tired. So like then I would just always be like that. you
I
know?
kind of am always tired too, but like there are certain times when I'm really tired
Yeah,
and then I
for
get
sure.
pissed off.
Especially like if you got a window to sleep and then you got to be
Yeah.
doing some other shit.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Sick as it
Oh
is.
yeah.
Because it is. I remember at our when we did our podcast, 1 year anniversary at Foreign Local, and we had just finished recording, and you guys went to do whatever, and I'm like, cleaning everything up. And apologies to whoever tried to talk to me when I was doing that. I think I said it on the next episode too. Like I was so fucking hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you were.
Because I think like in between like the door and then me going to get tacos, we were like, oh, congratulations, oh, it was good, good to see you, and da-da-da. Like, oh,
He's like, get out of my way.
get the fuck out of my, I swear for God.
Well, we could
Like
see
Bernie Mac in that one movie when he's just slapping people coming off the train.
But we could see the taco truck from where we were sitting.
Which made it worse. And people kept like going out to get tacos, and they like the whole room smelled like
Yeah,
tacos.
they would bring the tacos
God.
inside,
And
and,
then-
everyone's like coming in the door right
Yeah.
next to us, and we're just like,
What if you're walking outside and that's when he like flips the open to close sign?
Dude, I would have flipped that truck over. Like I would have flipped that bitch right on the side. I don't give a man.
Get in the truck and just we're going to get whatever you fucking need to
Right. Well, because it was what sucked is when I finally did make it to the taco truck, they were out of cilantro. I'm like, God damn it, dude.
well,
You guys
good.
are
Cilantro's nasty.
you nasty.
Yeah, everyone told me they were out of cheese, and then when I went there, they had everything.
Well, because they ran out of food like twice.
Yeah.
They were out of stuff when I went to go get food. They were out of a lot.
It was a delicious taco truck though. They were good.
was.
It's just
Yeah.
I wish they had been prepared for my hunger to be
Yeah.
hungry.
I
Yeah.
don't think they were prepared at all.
No, I would have flipped that truck over though. Like it would have been like I would have been in that bitch. Like
Driving.
you would have
like,
just seen like the truck just start
El
shaking.
Supermercado, here we come.
Popping out of it.
Like my grandfather used to always say, my hangriness comes from generations. Like it's my mom, her dad, my grandfather. I remember we'd be sitting at Ponderosa because he loved Ponderosa, and we sit at Ponderosa and
My
like
mom used to love Ponderosa.
because that place was the shit, and because they knew what was up. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so we were sitting there and like my grandfather ordered whatever he ordered. We'd be like as a family sitting there waiting for a while, and my grandfather's favorite line is like, "Hey, I'm gonna get up and go by there and cook it my damn self." What's taking so long? And he would say it like to the waitress or waiter or whoever, like, and he wasn't joking. I don't know
Yeah.
if they would laugh it off. I knew it wasn't. Like, it's just serious. Like, he will get his ass up and go back there. You ain't gonna stop him either. Like,
Take him to one of those places like that, like the Korean barbecue place where you make your own food.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what he would do if he was actually still with us, but that would be hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
Because like, if the Germans couldn't stop him on the beaches of D-Day, you ain't gonna stop that man from going in your kitchen.
Nope.
That's it.
I miss
fair point.
I miss buffets. I think we talked about this
We have
on the
talked about
podcast
that.
before.
We have.
Like, goddamn,
Yeah,
I miss buffets so much.
Yeah, we have a lot of food talk going on right now.
yeah.
I have a Whopper sitting on the table in the living room.
It
by
went
the way,
deep,
so-
man. Went real deep.
Yeah, we talked about a lot right there. We have a whole ass episode to cover still.
We sure do. We should
Yeah,
really get to that.
Yeah, we gotta.
So on the topic of food, today's episode, like I said before, it is a ridiculous topic, but it is history and it is true. So be prepared. Strap yourselves in. Because we're going to talk about fucking cheese. We're talking about cheese today, everybody.
Yeah, straight up.
The chuz.
Not just regular cheese though.
Shez,
No, we're talking
But talking about government cheese.
good old government cheese.
that government cheese.
Now, I called my mom on the way over here because I was like, did I fucking eat government cheese? Because I've been fucking Section
we
8.
all did.
You know, all that
Yeah, I mean,
when I was a kid. I asked my mom, and she was like, no. She's like, I never accepted government cheese.
Well, the shit's ridiculous. I mean, like, because they give you this fucking brick of cheese and then give you, like, this little piece of string to cut it. Because it was a block. It came solid. It was a whole thing. So you had to cut it yourself. Like, however many slices you want, however thickness, whatever. But, like, they gave you, like, some twine, essentially, to slice
Yeah.
your cheese slices. And it's weird because, like Reagan, who made it government cheese, we're going to go back further than this, of course, but,
God damn it,
like,
Reagan.
oh, good old Reaganomics. So when he did this, he like, oh well, it's great because it has the perfect melting point, blah blah blah. I don't remember government cheese melting that easily.
No, there is actually like a press conference of like a government official bringing one of the blocks of cheese, and it was like moldy, dusty, crusty ass looking cheese, and he was like,
scrape the mold
"We
off."
have 360 million of these.
Right.
We got to figure out what to do with it.
Right. So let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning of the this whole cheese thing.
I'm so excited.
Because
I cannot wait for this story.
Yeah, this was years and years of a build-up.
Right. So the funny thing about it is, like, so this topic, I kind of stole part of it from the Fat Electrician. He's a YouTube dude. I think he does like TikTok too. But anyways, he's hilarious. I love his videos. But he brought this up once. I'm like, the fuck?
Food Theory did an episode on it too.
No, this is so... I'm glad that more people are starting to cover this,
Yeah.
because it's the people deserve to know.
Yes.
Honestly.
So this goes back to the fucking 20s. So we're going back to Prohibition. And like many things that started with Prohibition, the mafia and women's suffrage, you know. A lot of things were started back then, you know. But the Prohibition made us switch from alcohol to ice cream.
The next best thing.
Right. I mean, if I can't get drunk, I might as well fucking have some ice cream about it, I guess. Which I kind of get. It kind of makes sense to me. So anyways, what was going on is you had these bars and places that served alcohol go from hard drink to soft drink. During that time frame, they also started like doing ice cream parlors. So, you know, you want to go after work, like get an ice cream, I guess. Can't get hammered legally, so like, I might as well have an ice cream about it, right? So they had this giant boom of ice cream. I mean, people would go after work, after school, after whatever, and go have an ice cream, you know, with their sweetheart or whatever the fuck they're doing back then.
2 straws in the milkshake.
Oh God, so lame. But anyway, so there was a whole boom of ice cream back then, which was great, you know. There was actually a part where even the Fat Electricians covered this too, where they did have like the ice cream ships during World War II, bringing soldiers fresh ice cream during the war. So I mean,
How do you do that? How do you keep it cold?
well, a lot of metal.
Metal?
They made the ships out of metal. It was like the refrigeration ships. They have refrigeration. This is the 40s, so
Okay.
you know.
I thought we were in the 20s.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting to the 40s.
Okay. All right.
So because of that, like we had these farmers producing more and more milk to keep up with supply and demand. The problem is that once we were allowed to drink again, that fucking changed. So we had these farmers producing just an assload of milk, and as we know, milk doesn't stay that long as far as being good. But if you convert it into cheese, it sustains way longer as long as you keep it properly refrigerated and what have you. So the problem is that, and we've had several economic issues happen in this country, but the farming industry is one of the ones that we kind of have to keep afloat because, you know, they feed us. And because of that, they were producing all this milk and it wasn't going anywhere. So the government stepped in like, all right, we need to essentially bail these guys out of this issue because they're just over here producing this shit and it's not going anywhere. So the government started buying
kind of the government's fault in the first place. Too,
well, the whole prohibition thing was definitely their fucking fault.
Yeah.
You know. But anyways, because we can't have nothing nice. Like, oh, no, don't let them drink. Okay, we need to let them drink, apparently, because, you know, issues and cheese. Anyway, so... So what happened was because the government did step in, they started actually putting... taking the milk and converting it into cheese so it would actually last longer. Then they started making warehouses everywhere for this shit. Like they were putting cheese underground and caves and wherever they could find a place that was cold enough to keep it, they kept it. The biggest of those being in Springfield, Missouri, where if you ever get a chance to, there's a video that I watched earlier today about just how they keep this place cool. I mean, it's underground first and foremost, but they're pumping cold air into this massive warehouse to keep the cheese.
The cheese caves.
The cheese caves. The motherfucking cheese
I don't even
caves.
think you can visit them. Like, can you go
No,
inside the
it's
cheese
not
cave?
No,
public.
it's unfortunately not for the public. I wish we could though. That'd be hilarious. Like, hey, you guys want to look at some cheese?
I
Yeah.
want to go see the cheese.
Smell like in there. You know?
Oh God! Oh, it probably smells so bad. That's probably why they don't let nobody in there.
Yeah, right. So this one in particular place, the Cheese Caves in Missouri, has 1.5 billion pounds of cheese in it.
Right now,
That's currently.
Jesus,
That's
Jesus. play
Yeah,
play
you
the
got to do the thing. It's fucking gold, buddy. That's fucking gold. Right
Yeah, you're
there.
right.
This is why we're a comedy podcast, ladies
I
and
mean,
gentlemen.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, see the thing, in because this was in '49, you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like it kind of happened like a bunch of times to where like there's a dairy crisis,
Right.
and the government officials would decide to do some dumb shit to
can't-
try to, you know.
We can't get that shit under control.
And every fucking time it happened, more cheese was just being produced.
Yep.
Like every single fucking time, you
So
know.
like, how long does cheese last? Like the aged cheese that lasts like the longest. What does it top
it
out
depends who you ask. I mean, because if you ask the government, a long time, 40 years plus. I don't know.
at? Oh, okay.
You know, because some cheese, like you've seen moldy cheese, you can, like a charcuterie place, you can buy cheese
Yeah.
that is like clearly fucking molded. I don't know. I think
Well, isn't blue cheese? That's mold, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah, it is.
And then there's like wine drinkers, you know, like have like wine and cheese pairings, and some of that shit's like aged cheese, you know.
Yeah, I know aged cheese is a thing, and then there's also certain cheeses where there's like a layer of. There was this documentary on Netflix that went through all these different like types of food. I forget. It was really popular for a while. I forget what it's called, but there was this cheese that the guy went and saw in like Italy or something, and it was the whole thing was like covered in mold, and they would scrape off the outer layer of mold, and then they would be like, "Here's this $5,000 cheese."
Rich people are weird.
I know.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit right there. I don't do that.
Yeah, by the way, I was looking at it back in 2012. A block of 40-year-old cheddar was found in a shop that they left in the back of an old cooler, apparently.
Ew.
More recently, there was a 20-year-old cheddar that was selling for $200 a pound.
What?
Again,
That's a lot of cheddar.
That's a lot of
A
cheddar.
lot of cheddar.
Fucking hey. I didn't know we were gonna run into so many puns today.
These cheese puns. Hell yeah. These jokes are so cheesy, guys.
Oh shit. I wasn't ready for that one. The back to back.
Nobody was. Our listeners going to be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? They were all just fucking high talking about cheese or something.
Well, I am. I don't know you guys.
I'm not.
That's why I was so excited for this episode.
Just-
Just cheese and talking about cheese.
there you go,
Yeah.
man. All right, carry on. I'll let you keep moving.
Yeah, so like you said, in '49, it was called the Agricultural Act. They were the ones who basically gave permission. They like subsidized the industry, so they allowed government on all types of like schools and stuff like that to buy this government cheese. You know what I mean? Because there was so much of it. Now that's kind of like the first incident. You know, you go into the '70s. Kind of comes back, you know. And '73 was the same fucking thing. Prices of cheese fucking went up a lot. They were trying to basically balance out inflation. You know what I mean? Because running out of fucking cheese, people were just getting out of recession. They were like, you know what's a really good fucking idea? Let's raise taxes on fucking dairy. You know. Up to 30% actually.
Holy shit.
Like a whole fuckload.
Wow.
So they actually started giving farmers incentive to make more dairy, you know. Not only has, I don't know if the Got Milk advertisements started, or maybe that was in the 80s.
No, that was the 90s.
90s? Okay, so that was probably
Yeah,
like
that
late
was
80s going into
totally
90s.
90s. I remember because my mom had a Jennifer Aniston poster, Got Milk poster.
Oh,
Yeah, I had I think I had a Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
that's a solid
Milk.
one right there.
That was like the most 90s thing
Jennifer
in existence.
Aniston. I bet you that's worth some money right now, actually.
Probably. I wonder if she
Probably.
still
Yeah.
has it.
I'm willing to bet.
Cause I remember like you would see it in magazines, it was on TV commercials, it was everywhere. Like we're gonna dive into that eventually
Okay.
because that's something that we have to spend some time on
Yeah, we definitely do.
because that's. If we were ever wondering if the government's ever brainwashed us, we have evidence.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
But yeah, so like you said before, like there was the 70s when there was a dairy shortage, 30% inflation, which was pretty impressively bad.
Pretty bad. And then at the same time, they were giving all these farmers incentive
Right.
to like take out loans and produce more dairy. So like at that time, like being a farmer was a pretty good fucking trade. You know, especially when there's a shortage, it's like, yeah, it's a pretty good fucking time to be a farmer, you know. So guys were just kind of taking up what they could and making as much money as they could, which was a good idea at the time, you know.
Right. So, but we still had a surplus. So, like back, what we're talking about, you know, in the 70s, when Reagan was still president, he actually gave 30 million pounds of cheese away to nonprofits. So this is what was going out to the welfare and other various.
Is this why everybody puts cheese on literally everything? Is this like the start of the cultural love of cheese?
We're gonna get there,
Yeah,
because
there's a quote he had. I'm gonna look up. You can go ahead. But
so there was an organization that was started back in the 90s, actually, called the DMI, the Dairy Management Incorporated, which is a nonprofit, quote unquote, organization that handles pretty much all of the advertisement for any milk-based product. So they made Got Milk. They were the people behind it, but
Big dairy.
literally,
yeah, and they had like advertisements for milk before, like every time a situation happened, like when there was war, like I said, during World War II, they were advertising milk as like, you know, buy milk for your soldiers, make you strong, you know, make your bones strong, shit like that, you know.
right? All that.
Wasn't as good as the Got Milk campaign.
No,
Sure.
no, definitely not.
Buy some war bonds. Help your soldiers. Help your soldiers drink some milk.
Pretty much. But yeah, so it was like you mentioned before, with the being a dairy farmer, not a bad deal, because the government was buying what they're fucking making. And it actually was around $2 billion of federal funds end up going that way.
They put a lot of money into it.
into producing
$2 billion, yeah.
milk. Here we are. Yep. So
Yep, and by the year 1980, the U.S. government had purchased 500 million pounds of this cheese.
yeah, I was actually just looking at that part too.
Like the whole time this is going on, like the cheese flow is never stopping. It's consistently just getting storaged, put away, you know.
Well, and then the fact that we had actually had two notes about this, and I skipped over both of them. Anyways, so just to put it in perspective, again, like 500 million pounds, 500 million pounds of fucking cheese the government purchased. There were 150 warehouses across 35 states that were used to store this cheese.
Sounds like a lot.
That's a lot of cheese.
When was Cheese Whiz invented?
It's an excellent question. I have no
That is
idea,
an excellent question.
but I will find out.
Okay.
Like I said, I was asking my mom on the way over here if we had government cheese, and she was like, no, of course, because she is a thoroughbred Mexican woman and probably would not put that shit on any of her food. But what I've heard it be described as somewhere between Velveeta and American cheese, and probably only worth mac and cheese or a grilled cheese sandwich. That's about it.
Bare minimum of cheese.
Because not only
Right.
did they have government cheese that they gave away, they also had butter and powdered milk.
I was going to bring that up, the power milk thing, because I remember having that
Yeah.
when I was younger. But Cheese Whiz was 1952, by the way.
Oh, okay. So like kind of in this.
And it actually wasn't in a can like that. It came in a jar. You spread it like,
Oh, like
it was-
fucking peanut butter?
What?
honestly, yeah, it looks like peanut butter.
That's weird.
It makes me feel weird. I'm going to move away from this.
I guess that's not that weird because, like, okay, have you guys ever been to Cherville Lounge?
I have not actually.
No.
Okay, so they bring you, or they used to, I don't know if they do anymore, but they bring you like a loaf of bread with your meal, and then they also bring you these breadsticks, and they have like a little container, like spreadable cheese, and it's basically Cheese Whiz, but it's like in a little ball, and you just spread it on your bread or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I always wanted to go there because they had all you can eat like lobster or crab or something like
Crab
that.
legs, yeah.
Yeah, but they stopped doing
They
it.
don't do that anymore. I think they got a new owner or something because all their food has gone to shit.
That's unfortunate.
I know. It used to be one of my favorite places.
We're back to talk about buffets again. What the fuck?
Sorry.
It happened so quick.
R.I.P. I mean, we still have Golden Corral as a buffet.
I
Is
will
it really?
never go to Golden Corral.
I've only been there once in my
That
life.
place is disgusting.
Well, they remodeled the one, didn't they?
I don't know, but I don't ever
Yeah, I haven't
want to
been
go
there in a
there.
long time.
Fair enough.
Real
It
long
was
time.
like when I did go there, it was like worse than Old Country Buffet.
Old Country Buffet, rip to that too.
Yeah,
That was a fucking.
that was so.
It's an Olive Garden now. Isn't
It is an Olive Garden now. So when I was a senior in high school, we did a road trip to DC as our like senior trip, and our school made a deal with Old Country Buffet that like that was the food that we got to eat during this trip, and that was it.
Okay.
So like every time we stopped on the way there and the way back, we went to Old Country Buffet. So for like 4 days straight, we ate nothing but Old Country Buffet.
Ooh.
Your senior trip sounds awful.
It was horrible. It was the worst senior trip ever. And I was the first one out of all my friends to turn 18. So I almost got caught buying them all cigarettes.
Hell yeah, there you go. A little delinquent. I think my senior trip was to Cancun. I didn't go.
What?
Yeah, we didn't go to DC.
God, we went to the Holocaust Museum.
That's rough.
What the hell?
I didn't have a senior trip. If it makes you feel better.
You didn't. You didn't go and see a year of high school.
Sophomore year, baby.
Well, yeah.
That was it.
Jeez. Got a bunch of scholars on this damn podcast. All right.
Yep.
So,
How does Ben say it? We're armchair historians. I like that.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there is a dude with that name on YouTube, so we can't really take that. Because he has a whole thing.
Cut that out.
Cut that.
Yeah, we're gonna get fucking sued and shit.
Oh, that was like somebody else already has taste buds or taste buddies.
We're not calling our people taste buddies.
Yeah, they're not taste buddies. No.
I have not heard from anybody about the whole taste buds thing.
No,
actually,
nobody responded, which is fine because I guess there's another podcast called. What was it called?
Taste buddies.
No, it was called. The podcast was called Taste Buds, I think, and then they called their listeners Taste Buddies.
Oh, that's so fucking bad. That's so bad. Oh, speaking of which, we did get the poll. By the way, I think hoodies was the winner, so we're going to be working on that here soon.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Stay tuned for that. I'm going to do that eventually
Yes.
when I'm not on vacation.
Okay.
So yeah, back to
We're
the
ADD this episode.
yeah.
well, because we're not talking about anything like fucking serious. I mean, well, it is serious because I mean it's ridiculous how much
little
money
bit.
the American people spent on this, but still.
Government cheese is very serious.
I do want to get sad for a little bit here.
Oh, okay.
During this point where we're at 70s going into 80s, this was another interesting fact I read about. At that time, the Soviet Union had invaded Afghanistan, and Jimmy Carter had put a grain embargo on the Soviets, taking away like a lot of that trade. So that was like what caused some of that drought that we were talking about. You know, the cheese drought. Also, a drop in land value for these farmers. So when we got into the 80s, after they're implementing all these, after the 30% tax hike, they're making them produce all this dairy. The land value goes down. So all these farmers are starting to lose out. They're starting to get fucked because now they can't sell the cheese. Now the government has bought so much cheese from them. They still have all this stockpile of stuff. They got nowhere to put it. They got nowhere to sell it. If you're a farmer, you're all self-sufficient. Everything is run, operated, and owned by you. And if you have employees, I don't know how the fuck it works. Maybe it's just your fucking kids. I don't know. But a lot of farmers turned upside down. Lost their land. Suicide rates for farmers had actually rose 4 times. Like from, I think, the Great Depression till that time, the 80s, which I think is, I should have wrote the number down, was around 58% for like the suicide rate for farmers in the 1980s.
That sucks. I mean, come on. Farmers are like the best.
The most important people we have in the country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody loves farmers. Come on.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And it was one of the darker things out of this that I felt we had to get out a little bit,
Well, I mean, we've had crisis with farmers before. We were just in one. If you remember during what was that, COVID, we had the whole thing with
well, the supply chain was broken.
Right.
So there was the thing with meat where farmers were having to dump all this meat. They were having to dump eggs and dairy products because there was no way to get it to people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It was pretty bad.
That
So
was
then like
rough.
a bunch of people started doing donations to help out the farmers. We started getting I don't know if you ever remember or not, but like we started having, this is actually right before COVID now I think about it, but they were sending like grain down south because there was a massive storm down there. You would see them in you would see like truckloads of grain on the highway just going back and forth. It was crazy.
There was they did something like that right before COVID. Do you remember when Australia had those fires? Mm-hmm. There was like this huge farmer fund for Australian farmers because a lot of their crops got destroyed.
Yeah, I remember
Fires,
that.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, literally the most important people we have are the people that feed us. So,
Yeah, for
like,
real.
kind of gotta keep
Yeah,
them
like the
around.
hardest working motherfuckers too, man.
Oh, God, I don't miss it.
Yeah, I can. Especially if you own and operate like a major dairy farm.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle of America, and then like you do your 16-hour days, and then you find out like you can't make money
Right.
for like the next 6 months.
Right.
And you're
it's-
still producing, like, because that's what you got to do. That's your.
You still got to do it, right?
Yeah,
Because that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Have you
terrible.
ever been to Fair Oaks?
No, never been there.
It's kind of sad. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I always see like tabloids about them on Facebook about like,
Yeah, there was like
poorly
a
kept chickens and shit like
there
that.
was a controversy. I mean, so I think a lot of it has to do with like that's how factory farming is. Like like actual factory farms are way worse than Fair Oaks, but Fair Oaks is like a smaller farm, so it's not as bad. But there's still a lot of like practices that aren't awesome, and they're very open to the public, so people can come and see that there's like little dead baby pigs in their pig pens. And then there's a toddler right next to you screaming, "Mommy, why is that baby pig not moving?"
Sleeping.
God damn.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Anywho, so moving on. So bringing this back into, we were in the 80s, 78s, bring us into the 90s then. Let's move into what most of our listeners probably remember very, very, very vividly. The Got Milk campaign, the Got Milk ad campaign.
Milk. Anybody who was anybody. Fucking Michael Jordan, Jennifer Aniston, like you said.
Every celebrity.
Any sports figure.
Yeah, because they had a milk mustache, and it was the whole Got Milk thing. Because we were the generation told to drink a shit ton of milk, and now all of us are lactose intolerant.
Yeah, that's the fucked up thing. Like, I looked up the rates on that. Did you know 70% of American population is lactose intolerant?
That's fucked up.
yeah.
That's a large number.
Well, it's probably because we're not supposed to be drinking animal milk in the first place.
Not
but
supposed to do
We're
it.
not. And it's like there's this people who are not lactose intolerant, it's actually like a mutation, I think.
Fucking
it's something like
freaks.
you have to have this
my first thought was the X-Men, but okay.
Yeah. No, you have to have this like very specific mutated, I don't know, gene that allows you to digest milk past a certain age. Everyone else who's lactose intolerant is like normal. So, people aren't really supposed to be drinking milk past like 2 years old.
Well, and we're not supposed to be drinking animal milk in the first fucking place.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like,
And like, I used to love milk.
oh, same here.
When I was a kid, up until I was like 28, milk was like, I fucking
Dude,
loved it.
you used to drink it when we went out to eat, man. I
Straight
remember
up,
that
dude.
very
Yeah,
vividly.
I would order a glass of milk.
Disgusting.
I would get like a lemonade or something like that. Like if we weren't like drinking or something, we were just out for lunch or something. He would get like a glass of milk. I'm like, the fuck, dude.
Hell
That is
yeah.
so nasty. Like I know that I've told this story on the podcast before, but I used to have a friend that I would go over to their house like every Sunday for dinner, and their family only drank milk at dinner. Like you weren't allowed to drink anything else. And like every time we would be eating like tacos and then just like a glass of milk, and I'm like,
yeah.
"Bleh."
That's white people shit right there. I
Oh,
love
it was
that.
awful. It was the whitest white people tacos. It was like grocery store tortillas.
Yeah, Mission tortillas.
Some like hamburger with the packet in there, and then like some cut up lettuce.
Some salsa, some Tostitos. Salsa.
Dude, I wish I had some Tostitos salsa right now. Actually, that'd be fucking fire.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. Oh, shout out to Sense. I'm still eating that fucking smoked cheese dip that he made.
Hell yeah.
Jesus Christ, is that good?
I should have brought some with me, man.
Yeah, nobody took any of that.
I don't know why I didn't tell you to bring me some ham today. God damn it.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring me some ham. Come over tomorrow. So, like I mentioned before, like the whole God Milk program was in the 90s. And if you follow the money on this one, it's going to be one of those moments because like looking at where this all came from was from the Dairy Management Incorporated, which was a government agency meant to assist, quote unquote, farmers with selling their goods. Well, the thing is though, they're supposed to be a non-profit, but in order to be a part of it, the farmers have to pay for it. So the farmers paid a lot of money essentially to get this this program up and going, which I mean it worked out because I mean think about how many people remember that ad campaign. That I mean we're talking about 1995 was when they started.
It's iconic.
So I mean 95 was how many years ago now, and we're still fucking talking about it.
Yeah.
Like it was very effective.
I was
obviously
5 years old.
Okay. So, anyways, actually, I was only let me see, I was 8. So yeah, something like that. Yeah. So whatever. Well, like we were like, you know, it's fine. Anywho, but it was such a crucial part of our lives because we remember that vividly. I mean, I can't remember shit from back when I was that age, but I remember this.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I mean by like they brainwashed an entire generation to just consume a lot of fucking dairy product.
Yeah. I feel like 90s was prime time for that, for commercial brainwashing.
Yeah.
Oh, that and Gatorade, yeah. Remember the commercial where the athletes would be sweating out the color of Gatorade they were
I
drinking?
love those
That shit was
commercials.
hard as fuck.
Those are cool.
Yeah, they were.
But they always had like the cereal commercials that would be like part of this balanced breakfast, and it's like the cereal, and it's like an apple and then a glass of milk.
Right.
You know,
I've never had that combination in my life.
No, not really.
isn't there already milk in the cereal? Like, why do you need a glass?
But you
of
need
milk?
more. But you need more milk.
Apparently.
Obviously. So one of the weird things I found out about this company though, they're actually they're in Rosemont, Illinois, by the way.
They would be.
But their revenue, this is as of 2015, their revenue is $148 million. This is a nonprofit.
Holy shit.
Let's go back to that nonprofit part. So we're talking about these executives of this company making millions to sell you what you already want.
So it's a nonprofit
Fucking A.
that profits.
Government.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the thing, like we said in 49, when they turned it into a subsidized industry, they allowed all these, it was kind of like a loophole. They were like, anybody can, you know, give it to schools, give it to fucking,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
And the problem is, especially like we were talking about with the government cheeses, like I think we mentioned earlier in this episode, it's like, dude, like the cheese was moldy. It was barely, and I mean barely meant for human consumption. Like the people that were behind it actually said it would be better to dump it in the ocean than to give it to
Yeah,
people.
that was their plan B. That was like the number 2.
Actually, their plan A was to dump it in the ocean. And then people were like, wait a minute, what?
That was, I
give it
couldn't
to-
find the quote because Reagan had said that. He's like, I can't stand idly by while there's millions of Americans like suffering.
Starving.
Well, because there's a picture of him holding a block of the government cheese. You'll see it.
It's like
Dusty ass cheese.
let's give it to children and prisoners.
Yep.
Yeah, single mothers, children.
Who's not going to complain about this cheese?
That's like when I
Right.
asked my mom, she was like, right away, she was like, no.
Yeah.
Well, so it was actually a USDA official to the Washington Post who said probably the cheapest and most practical thing would be to dump it in the ocean because it's not good for humans.
And that's a lot of fucking cheese.
Again, billions of pounds of cheese.
Like,
Well, about the time millions. I'm sorry.
buoyancy on that, you know? How does it fucking
How do you make it
cheese?
sink?
Yeah.
So many questions.
Would a fish eat it? Are
Yeah,
fish
do
lactose tolerant?
sharks eat
What
it?
kind of economical disaster would that cause?
Well, I mean, we've done worse.
We could
There's
just
no
make,
way.
make sharks bigger. I don't fucking know.
There's
Oh,
no
fuck.
way that fish would eat cheese. They would be like, what the hell is this?
Actually, you can fish with cheese.
What?
Yes. So I'm not sure which fish eat it though. I know catfish do.
Can you fish with dusty cheese?
Moldy
There's
cheese.
one way to find out.
Dusty, crusty, moldy ass
Musty,
cheese.
rusty ass cheese.
God damn it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So here it is. It's actually good for chub, CHUB. Anyways, carp, trench, and barbel. I'm not familiar with that at all.
That's
Chub and
some
barbel.
fishing words right there.
Yeah, but you can definitely fish with cheese. I've never done it, but I know you could.
I mean, is it one of those things that's like the fish know that they're not supposed to have it? Like their parents, the fish parents, are like, don't you be eating that cheese.
What'd I tell you about that shit?
Yeah, it's but I knew like they said carp, but I'm pretty sure catfish go for it too. But catfish eat everything, so it's
Carp
whatever.
eat everything.
So the carp, yeah. That's why you don't eat carp.
You could stick your hand in the carp water at Indiana Beach and your hand will be gone when you take it out.
Ah, yes, good old carp water. Well, they'll get in there. You can actually pull them out by your arm if you want to, but I personally wouldn't do it. That's
Another
a bit much for me.
weird statistic I remembered was that the average person in America, as of 2017, eats 34 pounds of cheese in a year.
That makes my stomach hurt.
I'm not part of that statistic.
Like, I feel like I'm gonna
not-
have a poop later and think about this. Like,
See, I'm not a cheese person. I don't really like
Really?
cheese that much. Yeah.
I like cheese on things, but I won't eat cheese by itself.
Okay, favorite kind of
can't-
cheese.
I don't know, man. Fucking American, I guess. Fucking.
Goat cheese, I
Provolone.
think.
I like I will say provolone would be my go-to. Like if I'm getting a sandwich, I want provolone on my
You said
sandwich.
goat cheese?
I can do, yeah, because it doesn't really taste like normal cheese. I can do like lighter cheeses. I can do like a mozzarella or Parmesan kind of.
okay.
But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
cheese that has a really cheesy flavor, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah, I don't like fancy cheeses. They make me feel like I'm poor.
Yeah, the first time I ever tried a fancy cheese, I don't even know how fancy it was, but it was the first time I stood at your cottage, and on the way back, I stopped at Greenbush because
Yeah,
I'd never
yeah.
seen it before. I was like, okay, we're going to stop it here on the way
Oh man, I
back.
want to go to Greenbush.
It's been a while, actually.
Let's go to
and-
Greenbush.
Oh,
We
I'm
should
down
do
for
that. Actually, when we get back from Philly, I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, let's do a podcast trip to fucking.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
required takes on the road.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But we went to at that time, across the street, they had the building and the little annex, and they had like an outside thing you could sit on.
Right.
And we were like, let's just get the charcuterie board, just meat and cheese. And 9 out of 10 of those cheeses fucking sucked ball ass. It was just fucking real bad.
Hashtag ball ass.
Like, it was,
Can I get a ball ass?
some of it was moldy. Some of it was just like the flavor was just way too bitter for me. And like none of it was just like how the fuck can you if I came home, I would never be like I could sure
Yeah.
go for a slice of that fucking.
I think that's a white people thing because
Yeah.
there are so many white people that I know that are like so into those fancy cheeses. I remember my mom's ex-husband was really into it, and like his rich friends were into it. They would get these really expensive cheeses imported from like Italy and shit.
I can't say that it's a white person thing. I think it's a rich person thing.
Maybe because I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like I've talked to like friends of mine who aren't necessarily rich, but they're like, "Oh yeah, like we love this like fancy Monterey whatever, not necessarily super expensive, but like they like the fancier cheeses."
What was the question I thought of last time to ask somebody to judge them? We talked about it on the podcast. I don't remember what it is, but instead of asking somebody where they work, I'm gonna ask them what's their favorite cheese to see where they stand in the hierarchy.
Yeah, because provolone, I think is a working man's cheese.
Yeah. I'm like, all right,
Like mozzarella, like
you make sandwiches for lunch,
right? Like you've made your own lunch before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, see,
that's,
and that's why I asked about the cultural obsession that we have with cheese because I'm not a huge cheese fan. So anytime I go somewhere and I order something that normally comes with cheese, I always ask for it without cheese. Like I'll go to Dunkin' and I'll ask for the breakfast sandwich but without cheese.
Yeah.
And it's impossible. You would think that I asked for them to put a gun on it or something. They're like, what?
Might be easier,
what?
actually.
Without
Yeah.
what? You mean without? Did you say without cheese? And I'm like,
Yeah. Can you spit in my face when you give me a
Yeah.
sandwich? Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm sorry. And they'll give it to me with cheese on it anyway.
right. Like she was obviously mistaken.
You're getting
we
this.
know better than she does. Obviously.
Yeah.
That reminded me of the fucking. I know you've watched the Boondocks. I don't know if you ever have watched
Yeah,
the Boondocks.
yeah.
All right. So the very first episode, when they meet Ed Wansler, the guy who owns the bank that owns the town and shit, is like, well, what are you gonna do, Granddad? He's like, I'm gonna give him some cheese. Like, wait. You cannot stop the white supremacist movement with cheese. Hell, I can't. Man, give a white man some cheese, turn me as white man into Mr. Rogers.
Oh God.
That fucking show, so ahead of his time.
John Witherspoon.
Rip Rooney to Witherspoon. But that was it just made me think about that when we talking about white people loving cheese. I'm like, God damn it, they called it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. White people do love cheese.
But to answer your question, the fascination about it is literally all of this. This has been years of propaganda and financial fucking inflation type
Scumfuckery.
shit of cheese that has just been if they told us there was a fucking cheese cave, if that was in a commercial somewhere in the 80s, people probably would have, I don't know, maybe some people would have stopped fucking around with cheese.
I mean, maybe
Well,
because and I also feel maybe that's part of the culture. If there is a cultural divide about cheese, because maybe the Hispanic people were more suspicious about it. They're like, I don't know about this cheese.
Excuse me.
Like, it's got nothing to do with Chihuahua cheese. So.
Right. I mean, my parents never had cheese. Other than, like, we would put cheese on a burger, or we would have cheese, obviously, on a pizza. Like, we don't go out of our way for cheese, though.
Yes.
Like, I have slices of cheese in there for when I make burgers. That's it. That's the only cheese I have
in a Mexican household, man. My mom had Chihuahua cheese or queso on everything.
But
Everything.
queso's also delicious, though.
Yeah, she would always buy, like, the blocks, and like, she would always have a sharp ass fucking cheese. What do you call it? Cheese grater?
Cheese grater, yeah.
So your mother was cutting the cheese?
How many
was.
of these can we fit in this episode?
She was.
Damn it.
See, that was you. That wasn't even us.
You guys started it, man. I can't.
I'm glad you got one in. I really am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're saying.
It's really kind of crazy how, like you said, this fascination with cheese, because for me it's the opposite for me. I get cheese on everything, and even
A lot of people do.
Even with me having IBS and being lactose intolerant, like, cheese blocks me the fuck up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really cause too many problems if I don't get crazy. But I don't drink milk anymore. I really don't fuck with ice cream, And it's like when I don't buy ice cream to eat at the house or anything like that. So it's like if we're somewhere and I'll have like a piece of cheesecake or something like that with ice cream on it.
Dude, I haven't had ice cream in so long. Didn't I give you my ice cream? No, I gave Greg my ice cream on my birthday.
Oh yeah.
We were at a restaurant for my birthday, and like hey, it's your birthday. Here's cake and some cheese.
Where were we at? I forgot.
We were at Crab 99.
Oh yeah, that's right, in Indy. Okay. I remember now.
I do like a fried ice cream, like a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, that's just good.
Yeah, like fair food. I guess that's a
food,
good
yeah.
time.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah, for
Get some
sure.
ice cream. Yeah.
By the way, I just wanted to add in like one more thing about the whole like obsession with cheese and the government's involvement with cheese and keeping cheese in our fucking lives.
It'll never go away.
Not at all. So the U.S. Department of Agriculture actually helped bail out Domino's back in 2010.
What?
Because well, they were failing company back in 2010. They were bailed out in order to keep them producing pizza using their cheese.
That's weird.
Well, not using government cheese, but it was using just keeping the cheese production on their pizzas high.
See, that makes me wonder. Like, when you were in school, like, do you remember how you could have like a free lunch, or then there was like a step above, you can get like the 40-cent lunch, or you were just one of the kids who had to pay for your lunch?
We didn't have a cafeteria at my school.
Oh,
Yeah, we
that's wild.
we just had one lunch. We didn't have options. It was here.
We had to bring
Go
our
eat.
own
Oh,
food.
yeah, you went to Andrean though, right? That's
Yeah, well, Andrean, they had a few options at least, but I mean, it was still the same fucking price.
God, you guys were in like churchy schools, yeah.
I was referring back to middle school
Oh, okay, yeah.
and grade school.
Same thing for middle school and grade school for me. We had hot lunch once a week, so we would have like, I think it was Wednesdays. They would have at least in middle school and grade school, they'd have like pizza one day or like taco. You only had one option, and you would pay for it. And then every other day, you just had to bring your own food, and we would just eat at our desks in our classrooms because we didn't have a cafeteria.
Yeah.
And then in high school, it was like, I think we did it like once a month. Like, it wasn't common. It was like maybe it was twice
wow.
a month they would have hot lunch, and most of the time we just like brought our own food.
Yeah, that's so different for me. I went to a lot of different schools, especially in Illinois when I was a kid, and even when I came to Indiana. So like, I was always on the free lunch, and then sometimes I'd have to pay 40 cents.
Well, yeah, you went to public schools though too.
Yeah,
like
in public
private schools you had to pay regardless.
Yeah. So like, if you had the free lunch, you could still get the same thing as everybody else, but some schools had it to where the free lunch was only like, it was like a grilled cheese, a bag of chips, and like a milk. Mm-hmm. And that's all it was. And it makes me wonder, I'm like, well, these motherfuckers slipping me some government.
No, 90% sure they
Probably.
were. Like, I'm pretty damn confident they were.
Because that was a couple
Like, had to
schools,
have been.
elementary schools I went to in Illinois that were like that, where the free lunch was only that. It was like that, or like
Because that's where it comes from, right? Is the government funds.
Exactly, yeah, government funds it.
Yeah.
So, like the same with the milk thing. They were literally offloading all of this bullshit onto these kids.
Yeah. But you guys know my mom's ex-husband used to own a dairy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like we had the little cartons that we would have at school, and there was like the like shitty like low fat chocolate milk that we had at the schools, and then I would bring the full fat chocolate milk from
shit.
home. And then I would just be like
uncut, baby.
Yeah.
Right.
I would be drinking my
From the source.
full fat chocolate milk, and everyone would be like, "Hey, can I get some of that? What you got any more? Can you bring me one? Can you bring me some of those?
Shit.
Yeah, my milk ain't been stepped on.
He's out there slanging
like-
chocolate milk.
Right.
You got one of them fruit by the foots?
All right, what you got?
I'll trade you for some Gushers."
I got what you need.
Yeah, some of that chicken sandwich. Man.
Right. Coming in with a fucking trench coat that's full of fucking jugs of milk and shit.
Oh, you guys got a Lunchable? What's up?
Psst.
Unpasteurized shit right here, my friend.
Right. It's not been stepped on. Straight from the source. I saw the cow with his eyes.
Straight from the udder to this fucking...
Right here.
Milked him my damn self.
Right. See these hands? I made it happen.
Oh, shit.
Just for you.
Fucking A.
Yep, that's about fucking right.
Give me that
But yeah,
Capri
like
Sun.
so, and I really hope this episode will like help everybody like think about like all the shit we used to eat and drink back in the day, and like how this probably attributed to a lot of it.
Relentlessly. Yeah.
I mean, like from the pizza we ate, like again, the whole Domino's thing alone was fucking wild.
That's why they can't out Pizza the Hut.
Remember we used to get fucking free pizzas for reading books?
Yeah. Oh, it was Book
man.
It. The Book It program, and you would get
Think about it.
you would get
Yeah.
a pizza. Oh my gosh, that like brought back a core memory when you
Hell
said
yeah,
that.
a pan pizza from Pizza Hut. Oh yeah, little personal pan.
That was
Fucking A.
amazing.
It came in its own pan.
Yeah.
For you personally.
Who used to do the good grades thing? Didn't they? Some place used to do that too.
A lot of places.
Oh yeah, a lot of places did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't stop giving a fuck.
Yeah.
I know we talked about Shakey's on the podcast before.
We have.
They had a good grades thing. Like if you brought
yeah.
your report card in, you got game tokens or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
You go to that shady ass fucking room with the arcade games in it.
Like I distinctively remember my dad telling me one day, like going to a place like that where they had like if you had a good report card.
Sure.
And my dad like we were reading the sign, him like slapping me on the chest. He's like, I guess you're shit out of luck, huh?
Dude, my mom. So like we went to Old Country Buffet one time, and there was like kids under 6, 8 for free, or like kids under 6 were like this price, and then over 6 was that price. And I remember like I had just turned 7, and I was like so excited because it was my birthday, and I had just turned 7, and everyone, and, adults ask kids, how old are you? Oh, I'm 7. Oh, you're 7. You're constantly having to tell people your age when you're a kid. So like we get to Old Country Buffet, and the hostess or whatever asks how old I am, because my mom was trying to get the under 6 price. She was like, oh, she's 6. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm 7.
You lying bitch.
My mom goes, shut up.
You're blowing it.
You're embarrassing. You're making me a liar in front of all my friends.
I was like, you should have warned me in advance, Mom. I don't know. I'm only 7.
Oh, shit.
Oh, parents. So, anyways, in conclusion, as of 2016, there is 1.4 billion pounds of cheese currently in caves in Missouri. So
It's a lot of cheese at a nice 36 degrees because apparently that's how you keep it nice and fresh.
apparently, like I said, like if you get a chance to watch the video of like the ventilation system they have set up for
Yeah.
just this cheese, it's pretty wild.
And like you would think, like you said, like how long does it last? Like they got to be getting rid of the old stuff. No, they haven't.
Really?
Yeah, there's actually a color system involved with. Yeah, it's
It's all just keeps piling up.
So what are they doing with it now?
I mean,
It's probably some more
Cheese
caves.
They're
Yeah.
still just like giving it out to
They found some
Domino's.
limestone. Yeah.
well, the thing is, like, so back in the 90s, the original warehouse that we were referring to earlier were actually bought out by Kraft and Velveeta. So the government actually got out of it.
Okay.
Got out of cheese. Until 2016, this whole horde of cheese. But anyways, because the other cheese was gone, new cheese was been hoarded now in these
At
caves.
least it's newer cheese.
That's a conspiracy theory to dive into. Who's making money off this free cheese now?
The government, like this non-for-profit, like I was talking about, this non-for-profit that does advertising is pulling in millions of dollars right now. So
Well,
I mean,
I'm sure like Velveeta and whoever bought it.
That's
got,
what I mean.
a
Like,
really
who are the
good deal.
companies that are
Yeah.
right?
they're involved in this?
Yeah, Kraft, Velveeta are the big two.
Kraft owns like everything. Have you ever looked into like everything that Kraft owns?
It's impressive.
It's wild.
Wow, didn't know
Stuff
that.
that you like would never even imagine that's like Kraft owned is Kraft owned. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's bordering on monopoly actually.
Yeah,
it's
for
pretty
real.
it's pretty impressive.
For real. They
It's-
own like the entire food industry basically.
Yeah, it's just like if you look at I think it's Volkswagen and look at all the car companies they own.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up.
Wow.
Like you think, oh, I bought a Bugatti. That's great. That was one of the greatest cars ever made. Yeah, fucking Volkswagen owns it.
I mean, it could all be narrowed down to like within 10 companies that really
own everything.
absolutely everything.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty
then you
crazy.
could even narrow that down smaller into like 3 companies.
Yeah, Kraft
the end.
owns Jell-O, Oscar Mayer, Philadelphia cream cheese, Lunchables, Kool-Aid, Crystal Light,
These are all my favorite things when I was a kid.
yeah, like everything.
Follow the cheese, man.
Maxwell House. Yeah.
You crafty bastards.
Ha! Because the Kraft cheese.
Bucket
Had to get that last one in there.
God damn it. Anyways, like I said though, like I really hope like this episode has made people think about like what the fuck the government actually advertised for us as we were kids, what they have done to us to make us morbidly obese, and give us all lactose intolerance.
Yeah.
Thanks.
They messed us up.
They fucked us all the way
Yeah,
up.
I don't know anybody who's over 30 who isn't lactose intolerant. It's
Right.
We're all,
quite impressive.
they were just like funneling milk into our throats when we were 5 years old.
They convinced me to do it myself.
Yeah.
That's how good they were.
Like, oh, you want strong bones?
Yeah, this article even mentions obesity because it's 41.9% of people are obese now.
Yeah. I feel like
Yep.
that's why little Timmy broke his arm. He wasn't
Yeah.
drinking enough milk.
I think there was actually a drop in some of the statistics I was seeing in 2010, like cheese. They people consuming cheese went down, but that lasted for about 2 years. Right back up.
Just saying. Shit's a little suspicious.
A little bit.
Follow the cheese, everybody.
Yeah.
Follow the cheese.
Get that on a t-shirt.
Actually, we should.
Follow the cheese.
I mean, we do need some more merch. Just saying.
Yeah, I got to start a separate note file for t-shirt ideas.
Yeah, put that down.
Yeah.
Write that one down. That's
Write
good.
that down.
Yeah, write that
Jeez.
down. That's a good one.
Let's get that
That's a
going
good
here.
one.
Before we exit, GKT Customs, I want to shout him out again.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's at the beginning and at the end.
In
And,
case the beginning gets cut off.
Yeah.
Right the fuck.
For all we know, the first 10 minutes will be cut out of this episode.
Indeed. Yeah, appreciate the love. Appreciate the sign. It was really, really dope.
Yeah, go check them out. Check out their work.
Give him some love as we give you guys love. As you give us love.
Yeah.
Everybody loves. And we appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Follow the cheese.
Follow the cheese.
Follow the cheese.
Cheese.
All right, goodbye.